That's 100 watt bulb.
One volt?
Yeah, one bulb.
To the life of the bulb, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, so it could be maybe
500 pounds bulb.
Right, which you're paying for, so you're actually saving money too.
Yeah, right. Now, to run out of time real fast, where are the weights? Here's one. Where's the other one? All right. Well, a gallon of gas weighs on average 6.3 pounds. That's about what this is right here. This is 6 pounds. When you burn it, gas, first of all, is made of hydrogen and carbon. When you burn it, you separate the two. Hydrogen mixes with oxygen and becomes water. Carbon mixes with oxygen becomes carbon dioxide. This is what you get. 20 pounds. 6 pounds of gas results in 20 pounds of carbon dioxide. So next time you're driving down the road, and you look at somebody's taillight going, what the heck is this? There's nothing coming out of that thing. Think again. Think again. And I'm going to stop right there.
You shot the two things we could all do, right?
That's true. And actually, that's part of the agenda. You know, so here we have this incredible expertise, and we've had this legislative effort, which is in the hands of the governor now, and we're not sure where it's going, but it may actually work. It's not quite as strong as we first wanted it. It used to have targets of returning to 1990 levels, like the Kyoto Accord, and now it's more inspecific and it lets them decide. A little scary. But it's the best we've been able to do so far, getting entrenched in the political process. But, you know, I've been burdened by this, you know, being the chair of this group. We've been having meetings with as many as 18 people, and now here we have this whole room full of people. And I've been so tormented with this idea of how do I figure out how to utilize all this human energy we've got behind. Everybody is so interested in this issue. Everybody here shares a priority, and I'm trying to figure out how to quit having little meetings, and how to turn it into something more productive. And the idea that I've come up with actually with Ed Martell is to turn these things into work parties. And to try to do some of the more tedious details behind the scenes, maybe with a smaller group, which we'll continue to do. But what I plan to do with this group is to schedule 5 or 6 work parties throughout the next season. And I'd like to consider, every one of you to consider being a part of this team. And it's going to be fun. That's the other part. It's not going to be drudgery. It's not going to be meetings where we're sitting back and talking about boring legislative details and things. We are going to have fun with this. And I've handed you all a little brochure that I made real quickly that describes a little bit about what I'm trying to talk about. And yeah, so these guys haven't seen it. So here. And you don't have to read it right now, but some of these parties will be letter writing parties. See, one evening, for instance, if we wanted to, the intergroup could come up with a list of addresses. But what in a handwritten letter is a very powerful tool. And if we could come to a party, we could all whip out 6 or 8 letters in one evening while we're all chatting and having some food. We would make a difference. And you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I've come to the realization that there's a lot of fires out there that need to be put out. There's coal-fired power plants, but the reality is we're not probably going to have the ability to stop that plant. So what I've done is kind of come up with a compromise idea where we're just going to try to plant a bunch of seeds. And we're going to keep doing it. We're going to scatter seeds all over northwest Arkansas and all over Arkansas. And we're going to see if we can just get this issue into the forefront. Does that make sense? And you know, so I'm going to, pretty quick here, I want to turn this over to a discussion. My vision is not clear. I have about 5 or 6 things that I can think of that we can do as a work party. But I'm sure there's some better ones out there. And I'm looking for things that create a lot of buzz. You know, for instance, one thing I want to do is I want us all to be at Springfest to work together. And at Springfest, I do have an idea, and we have funding for this as well. And we're going to give away thousands of these fluorescent bulbs for free. Thousands. And we're going to make a big publicity effort about it. And we'll need everybody there to help unbox them and hand them out and make sure that people getting them have learned something about why this is so important. This is a huge opportunity. And we have funding for this already. So we're not going to be working on fundraising all the time, okay? And so I'm going to pass around a sheet of paper while we're talking, though, and I'd like for everybody to sign up or put your email address and your name down so that we can have you on our list, and we'll just invite you to everything. That doesn't mean you have to come, but we would want you to come. And I will tell you that the first thing we have planned is not work. It's more fun, and it's more educational, and I think we're really lucky to have this opportunity. I've got Robert McAfee to agree to do a presentation, his PowerPoint presentation for us, right here in this room. So, and I'm real excited about seeing that. And I've already set a date, and it's February 7th. It's just a couple weeks from now. It's in the middle of the week. So I hope everybody can come to that. And it'll give us a chance to get to know each other better. It'll give a chance to get some camaraderie going, you know, kind of just figure what we're doing. And in the meantime, we'll be working on what these exact sequence of these work parties is going to be. Okay. So that's enough jabbering from this end of the room. And what I really want to do now is find out what everybody here is thinking. Maybe just start with comments and go from there. Got one, Jamie?
Your work party idea I love, but I'd like to kidnap one. I'd like to hijack one of them, and I'd like to see us design a information pamphlet that can go with each one of those handouts of the bulbs at Springfest. Plus, I would really like to see that type of format used for hammering out the ideas, the wording, the concept for doing 2 or 3 banners that we could use at Springfest and use it at our events. Because we're talking about information to the public, we need visual aids.
That's a good point. And the way I see that is, you know, I'm starting to think that almost any task, if you're creative enough, can be turned into a work party. And it's not always self-evident, but if you think hard, you can figure out how to finagle it. Yeah.
Just on that, I've seen too many times where farmers market or whatever, people are laying up pieces of paper and they're just tossed. And I saw something years ago that really overcame that, which could be done in a work party, was they made the information into a work party a little bit heavier, but they just simply punched a hole and tied a nice little yarn thing in it. And that people would throw away. They took it, and also gave it value, and they had the same information, and just be on a little piece of paper that people would toss. And that could be the pieces of yarn, nicely could be tied at a work party or whatever, you know, so it's like a work party with a yarn thing hanging out, but it keeps people from throwing it away.
That's really nice. That's really clever. I like that. That's the kind of stuff we're looking for. Good. That's good. One of the first things we'll be doing, of course, is trying to figure out how to address the coal issue, the new coal industry issue. And I'm sure we'll have a work party to address that too. Yes, go ahead.
Hi. My name is Tom Merencher. I don't know if anybody's heard that John Edwards has announced his candidacy for vice president. He's called for tomorrow, Saturday, to be National Day of Energy Action. And in response to that, I've invited people that are involved in the John Edwards campaign to come over to my house and do an introductory workshop on solar power. Really? Just because I feel like photovoltaics and wind power is a really powerful technology that is here now, and you can buy this stuff off the shelf and stick it on your house. And I've got about 1.5 kilowatts of solar going on my place. If anybody would like to come over and see how it works and how you can get it.
Yeah. I already got plans for this guy.
Anyway, I'm doing that at noon tomorrow.
Noon tomorrow?
At my house.
What's your address?
2692 Howell Street, P-O-W-E-L-L, Springfield.
2692. You can talk to Tom afterwards.
Yeah, you can talk to me after if you want to get directions.
Tom is quite an inventor. He's got some contraptions he's built where you pedal a bicycle and it powers up an incandescent bulb and it shows you how much energy it takes to get a light bulb to show. It really makes you think about leaving your lights on.
I saw it.
There you go.
I saw it wrong. I'm tired.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That was at the movie, right?
Yes.
And I had it at the movie.
I had a little idea about that, like the bookmark thing. If you're going to hand out the light bulbs, I don't know how expensive it would be, but maybe instead of a little brochure to go with it, you could do a sticker that we could affix right onto the light bulb cardboard box, you know, thing.
Oh, that's
That
true.
way,
That's
quick
true.
throw away would be right there, and.
We do have to be internally consistent, though. We don't want to be, littering the whole
Yeah.
wall
Well,
art
I'm
center.
thinking, if it's two things to do, that we're not gonna litter, and they're not gonna be able to get rid of that either until they get home
Right.
and take their, ball out of it, and it would be there. But maybe it's really expensive, I don't know.
I think that's doable. And by the way, I'm talking about like giving at least a dozen to each, or making it so each customer can take a dozen. Because I want them to really get the idea. A lot of people don't really get the idea. I mean, like I don't want to brag, but I mean, every single light bulb in my house is fluorescent, and I feel so good about it. I just feel so good about it. I can't tell you what a great feeling it is. And so one or two is not enough. Everyone, and we got to spread that word. We got to push people over the top on this thing, and get people used to this technology.
Kelly, I might suggest that, anybody know who Caldini is? He wrote the book, How to Influence, or something about influence. He's big, famous social psychologist.
How to win friends and influence people.
He may have written that one, I don't know. That's not the one I
I
had
don't
in
think he
mind.
wrote that one. It's
Anyway, he would suggest that we get pledge signatures, signature pledges, if we were to hand out these light bulbs. Commitment works. It's a durable way of getting people motivated.
So they don't just grab them and then go
Right.
sell them.
Right. So associated with this, we might want to do some kind of pledge card.
I like that.
And really kind of ties into one of your ideas. Well, the pledge idea. The energy, the reduction.
Yes, well, there's a website that helps you to figure out your personal carbon
It's
profile.
in your little booklet.
And you can calculate by typing in on his website your average electricity bill, your average gas bill, how many miles you drive in your vehicle, what mileage your vehicle gets. And it's a fairly simple, there's maybe 10 questions, and then it will calculate what your energy, your carbon footprint is, how much carbon you personally put out each year. And it's really kind of frightening, and I think that most of us, like the process that we've had, has been such an education. I mean, I thought I knew a fair amount, but there have been so many experts, and we're just inundated with email, because everyone, when they read a new article or they see a new study, they send it out to the other people in the group. And every day it's another 3 or 4 articles to read. And I think that some of the degree of carbon that each one of us puts out would be staggering to know, and that we would like to encourage people in this group, but then for you to get other people to see their personal carbon profile and make a commitment to reduce it, which is by doing things like changing your light bulbs and reducing how many miles you drive, and by doing more carpooling and making your house more energy efficient. And to make a commitment to reduce your personal carbon output by some percentage point. We could write up a brochure to that extent. And so you're making a pledge to do it, and you can go back in a year and type in the new numbers and see if in fact you have reduced your carbon profile, but then you can try to educate other people, because I really think most people are just naive about it. And we need to reach out to not the usual suspects that always show up at OMNI events, but you need to talk to your Republican uncle and your parents if they're around, and your cousin and your brother-in-law, and we really need to spread it to the non-traditional environmentalists, the message.
It's just,
and helping with that, you can appeal to their financial aspects of it. My brother is putting all fluorescent lights in his house, but it's not to save the building, it's to save a buck. So
right. It's nice that it works both ways.
Yes.
That's really nice. Another, yes, John.
Two things I was going to mention. One is sort of kind of another way of looking at this whole fluorescent bulb thing. I've done a lot of research on lighting for many years. And, one of the things that I found is that we have an epidemic of seasonal affective disorder in this country. People that are exposed to fluorescent bulbs much of the day and not getting enough daylight, and giving them depression and things like that. there are full spectrum bulbs that fit in incandescent sockets and some fluorescent sockets that are also very low wattage but give out a bright light, like the fluorescent bulbs you're talking about. So they serve the environment in the same way, but they're much healthier for people.
Are they much more expensive?
They are more expensive. It's a very,
I saw them at Lowe's the other day, and I noticed they had a couple. And I think they'll probably be coming out more because I hadn't noticed it before, but I was looking at the different bulbs they had there, and one said full spectrum, had some other name to it or something.
if you go
And
on
it's
the
a little bit more.
if you go on the internet these days, you'll find thousands of suppliers of them. But anyway, I just wanted you to throw that at you. It's a little bit of a curve, and we're talking. I don't want to be like a party pooper about
If the price is, if the price is right,
you know, it's a huge issue for people that work in places where there isn't all the time. Older people that don't get out, you know, that sort of thing. But second thing I wanted to say was, I was at Green Fest in San Francisco 2 Novembers ago, and I was struck by the amount of incentives California, the state of California has for people to build, put solar in their homes and things like that. And the number of businesses and organizations that sprung up all over the place, teaching people how to do this, and companies helping people to build them, and you know, just absolutely amazing. And I'd love to see more of that here in Arkansas, because I don't think people in general know that it's doable, as you say, that that's something that
And we have a tax rebate. Up to
but
30%.
What I'm saying is, in California, it's massive.
Arkansas.
And in California, they have massive incentives to help people do this.
Related to that, Ray, if I could just step in just real quick. I'm also a steering committee member of a newly formed Western branch of the Arkansas chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council. And we just put this together. We meet every 2 weeks, the steering committee. Next Tuesday is our first general meeting, and I want you to know that as co-chair of the programs committee, it's my intent to do tour of homes such as his and others in Northwest Arkansas to help people feel more comfortable with the alternatives that are actually out there.
I can email everybody.
Yes.
Steph and I can email everybody about that signs this list. It's next Tuesday or something.
Yeah, Tuesday, January 30th.
And I know you need it's a city meeting, and I will. I'll email this whole list with the details on that particular event.
My brother did it in California, and he said it cost him about $30,000. It ended up costing about $10,000. He said it paid for itself in about 12 years.
Yeah.
And he said it's way better if you hook up to the grid because the batteries are real expensive and hard to keep up. And the power company actually likes it because when the sun is shining is their peak load, because that's when people turn on their AC. And so
it goes back into the grid.
Right. So he's selling energy back to them when they need it the most, and that keeps them from having all this capacity that they can't use all the time.
Yeah. We're gonna. Yes,
And there is a bill that will be going before the legislature this session related to that. In Arkansas, currently, you can generate electricity from solar, and you can get your bill reduced by the amount of electricity that you generate, but it doesn't carry over. And so, a lot of states have, if you produce more electricity than you're using, you actually get money back, and it carries over from year to year, where in Arkansas it currently isn't that way. And that's going to be part of the legislative package that's going to be going.
Jamie, I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter.
I'll get both of you.
Okay. I think we should, whoever's involved can find out. We should find out if there's a calculator we can get to put in a laptop to use at places like Springfest and also at Saturday Market, where people can just sit down at a table and in 60 seconds they could do it right there. And then, at that point they'd have an immediate response. A lot of people, you give them an idea, you tell them about something, that maybe 1% will do it. You know, if you could have it right there to where they can do it, it can be fun or interesting. And you know, if we can get a program, somebody's calculator would be great to be able to run that through in a
We do
bit.
need to, I'm going to be a real hound about this, but I really want to keep couching everything in terms of a work product. I want to always keep coming back around to that whenever we can. Casey, that's when we get back to work.
I was going to ask if, Edward, can you send the information about those bills to this list so we can call our representative and make sure that they're supporting?
Yeah,
Excellent.
that'll be part of the mailing parties too. And even more important, the people at the Citizens First Congress and the, what's the name of it?
Policy Council.
They feel like, because there's legislators all over the state, and they only represent a small area, and the vast majority of them are from small rural districts around the state, and they feel like the legislators respond much more favorably to people within their district. And so we'll be asking all people in this group, if you know people from, you know, if you came from a small town in Arkansas, or you have an uncle that lives somewhere else, we need people in those areas to contact their legislators, because they're much more responsive to that. You know, if they get all their letters from Northwest Arkansas, they just figure it's those people up there. You know? And I mean, at least the experienced people that are trying to get legislation through the state, they feel very strongly that we need to contact.
We need to figure out how we can stimulate other people around the state to write to their legislators.
That's right. It's kind
The
of
bill's
complex.
not out there yet, so we don't have anything to do exactly yet. But
It's kind of complex, but I think we can overcome that obstacle. I think with the Citizens First Congress, I'm hoping that we can get the resources we need to reach other parts of the state constituency.
On the week ending February 9th, the Citizens First Congress and the Arkansas Public Policy Panel are going to have a series of press conferences across the state. For Northwest Arkansas, in Fayetteville, it's going to be February 9th around the noon time. So with Ed, and we'll be able to let you guys know when that is, and hope you guys can join.
That's very nice.
It's a 5-pronged system that the state has from educational reform, prison reform, which Mr. Tiffany's on that, but also one aspect, major aspect, which I think has big influential members here from our community, most of which are here, is the environmental reform and different tax incentives, and he, I'm sure, spoke about that.
Very
I
good.
don't know if everybody here really knows about Citizens First Congress, but Ed's talked about it, so it's a wonderful organization. It's a statewide organization. It's right in tune with OMNI's objectives.
They're pushing a whole package of bills, and the carbon caps was just one component. And we were supporting the carbon caps component. That's the job that we started to focus on. But there's other components that have to do with solar. There's one with biofuels. And there's another one with low-income assistance for efficiency. So all these things we kind of put against it.
Kind of bringing it back to the idea, the proposition of giving away the CFLs. We need to remember, though, that these things have at least a little bit of mercury in them, and that if and when these are distributed, we need to also at the same time educate on how to properly dispose of these things. And that's not sticking it in the dumpster or in the trash.
Yeah, I did that too.
What do you do with them?
Yeah.
You take them down to Boston Mountain Solid Waste place down here near the new prison. They now have Saturday hours, so you can go down there on Saturday and bring them down there.
Well, yeah, you definitely.
They have way less mercury than the traditional tube things do, but there's going to be a tidal wave of all these bulbs, in about 2 or 3 years.
No, 20 years. They last a long time.
I've already taken some down there. Oh yeah, I have already.
Yeah, they don't all last.
There's another exciting opportunity we have that is also already funded, and that is we have the opportunity to send a DVD of the Indian Troop to every legislator in Arkansas. And that's a big job. I mean, so one night we will.
That could be a work party.
We'll have to box
With
it
a
up.
note.
And we want to put an information pack in there. A lot of these legislators have not a clue, of what the situation is. They're very naive. Even our governor, I would say, to some degree, is naive. We've just butted up against the fact that he's very reactionary against going all the way to the Kyoto level. And and I don't know whether that's because of the pressures on him or because of his own naivety. I mean, we don't know that. But I know that he drew the line in the sand pretty firmly against returning to 1990 levels, which is what Gore proposes, is what Art proposes, is what Kyoto proposes.
The whole,
you know, the whole world.
Kyoto does quite a bit more than that, actually. It's below 90.
Okay.
Pursuing or developing the idea of a calculator, I know quite a bit of carbon offsetting about that, and it occurs to me, Robert's mentioned it too, what an awesome idea would be to have a table with 8 or 9, whatever, laptops connected wirelessly to the web out there. Hopefully we can do that. And there must be 25, 30 calculators on the web now. We'll pick out 1 or 2 of them and just have it down there. But we do more than that. We actually offer to take money for people to offset, and we will route the money to the carbon credit selling organization.
Wow.
We could do it for them right there on the spot.
If there's any sun, I could run those by solar power.
Oh, that'd be
Unless we're in the shade.
We just need a sync, we just need a wireless.
We're going to make a big deal about SpringFest. SpringFest is going to be a big opportunity for us. And like we need to make a bunch of these posters, and these they're pretty elaborate. I'd like to make some on on gasification process, because very few people know what that means. That it's something that the coal industry has to change to, either that or perish, one of the two. And we also need to we can put some charts out, some kind of Al Gore kind of charts. There's some core charts. There's a chart in your little pamphlet, by the way, that very basic pie that shows the distribution of carbon emissions. And I invite you to really ponder that chart and see where you fit into it. It's a really good pamphlet. Steve.
Well, in a related issue, there's a lot of people that think that we're peaking out in our production of coal and oil anyway. And we're going to run out. All this stuff is expensive now. It's going to get real expensive. And it's going to take more energy to get the energy out of the ground than there's energy in the ground.
Maybe more expensive is right. Unfortunately, there's a lot of fossil fuel in there. Unfortunately, there's a whole lot of coal in there, and oil, conventional oil is running out, but there's going to be oil sands, tar, real thick oils, and shale oil.
Well, it's unconventional though to quit doing it when it starts getting more expensive.
As it gets more expensive,
Unless you get
it
something.
might price gasoline go up. And it's a good, we got to start thinking different. It's a good thing for the price of gasoline to go up. And what we don't want is for it to go in the oil companies' pockets. There are better ways to do that, and it's called a gasoline tax. And you can use the gasoline tax to offset income taxes. So it doesn't have to really cost net anything in taxes if you use it to offset. We need high gasoline prices.
I just wanted to go back to the thing about, that we need people from around the state to drive.
Yes.
I know I went home from a meeting with policy council people thinking, oh, I don't really know hardly anybody anywhere else in Arkansas. I've only ever lived here. I have no relatives in Arkansas. And then I started to think, oh yeah, there's this friend in Little Rock, and I went to China to speak with teachers. It goes all over the state, and if you really start to think about it, those of you that might have thought like I didn't know anybody, you might be amazed, and so that could even be a work party. Let's brainstorm. How many people do we know?
Yeah, I like that idea.
Look on the
That's going to be important.
I don't know. But sometimes it's just fun to do stuff like that together, but you really might be amazed.
Right. See, if for instance, just in case you don't understand exactly why we have to target so carefully, if our legislation does get into the legislature, there will be a committee, and that committee there'll be a certain number of people that we consider possible to convince them to vote yes on that, and that's where the decision is made. If the committee passes it, it'll probably sail through the chamber, the larger chamber. So we will find out where these districts are of this committee, and we'll somehow finagle some names so that we can do inspire some of these people to appeal to their legislator. It's kind of complicated, but we're going to do it. We're going to figure it out, and with your help.
I just want to say something about the gasoline tax. I absolutely agree, and a lot of people do, but every time, can't pass it. So what I was trying to come up with, and this would be something to talk about at some other time, but is a voluntary tax. That you can call it a voluntary tax. Basically what it is, every time you fill up your gas tank, take that, however much you put in there, also goes into another account that you can use like with a debit card for energy efficient appliances, to invest in solar, to invest in these kind of bulbs. You set your own tax rate, and then you decide how to spend it.
On offsets.
On offsets.
Efficiency is
And,
one of the best
exactly.
offsets.
And now, how to, whether that's a totally self-disciplined thing, or whether you get a bank to help with issuing a card that is expressly for that purpose, I'm not sure, but I kind of like the idea, because then you don't have to worry about all those people who say, no, I won't pay it. Okay, don't pay it. To people who are willing to do it, it's a way of self-disciplining yourself to realize how much you actually can afford to spend on renewable energy and energy efficiency improvements.
That's great.
Now there's an entrepreneur for you.
Another one of the parties that we talked about having is to find ways to lobby for the light rail system. Art and I just had a meeting with people in John Bozeman's office, and he's unfortunately the person that had made some attempt to secure $1 million from the federal government to fund the long-term feasibility study, the detailed feasibility study for the light rail system. And so far, they have not secured that funding, but we need to write some letters and see if we can stir the pot a little bit and get that study funded.
You're saying he's interested in that.
It's hard to gauge. I think people, not coerced him, but convinced him. He went with some people to try to get it.
I'll give it back to you. Steve got it.
Well, the way the world actually works is the more noise that you make about biodiesel and homegrown fuel, the lower the price of gas is going to get, because all the Saudis are to do is to quell that talk by turning on the spigot, which is what they're doing now. And you notice all this talk has kind of disappeared from the media since the gas went down to $2 again. And then the other thing they're trying to do is starve the Iranians, because they're real scared of the Iranians. And when the gas price goes down, they've got a limited supply of capacity, and it's wrecking their economy. Same thing we did with the Russians.
Yeah.
That's what controls the prices. It's not supply and demand or anything we do or anything we say.
We can take it into our own hands, though. The U.S. government should make a decision to tax gasoline enough that it stays at $3 a gallon, and that's guaranteed for the next few years.
Who's going to get elected voting for that?
I mean, I'm talking what we should do. I'm talking what makes sense, but this is not what people are
It
doing.
doesn't seem like it's going to happen here, in Europe, Australia, places like that. It's a way of life. I mean, as high as gasoline got, the highest it got here wasn't nearly as high as it is in a lot of those.
Tom Friedman, popular columnist, wrote an entire column advocating that same idea.
Oh yeah, that's because we're a blessed nation.
It doesn't mean it's going to work here.
Back to the topic of work parties. I've been involved in lots of these things too, and I invariably I pick for myself to do something that's just way too much work. I just got these grandiose ideas, and I've learned that you got to pick things small. Pick small things that are doable, accomplishable, and feel good about it, and then go to the next one. And the thing that occurs to me here, and I'm all about education, is that another work party, or a work party, could focus on simply bringing in speakers to talk about things like demand response metering, which is aka smart metering, somebody else to talk about net metering, and all kinds of energy conserving topic areas, because it's not happening around here. And really play it up. Pick a venue, broadcast the heck out of it, and hopefully get a great crowd in here. Just because people don't know. They don't know. we happen to be, we all share something in common here. We all think that everybody else is already, up to speed on all this stuff, and that is so wrong. It's been my experience of traveling around the state talking to people.
One thing we might consider for next year, it's already too late for this year, would be to do an energy symposium, or sponsor an energy symposium and booth at the Home Builder Show next year. We have I don't know if we have two of them now where they're talking about it, but we have one of them in February of the year.
Mayor Cootie's going to be having some kind of a big global warming summit this summer. So we'll love to participate in that for sure.
For the mayors? Is that
That'd be something that this group can do.
Mayor Cootie is, by the way, very much like, tell me what I can do.
Yeah.
He loves what we're doing.
Yeah.
He's totally behind us. He's an ally. We can use him if we know how.
He's one of 3 mayors in Arkansas, along with North Little Rock, that have signed the mayor's agreement on global warming.
Well, I wonder if the city has all compact light bulbs. I mean, we could ask
No,
the city to do,
absolutely not.
maybe if he could start getting the city to turn over.
Right, or the university for that matter.
Well, I don't know if you know this or not, but they're now in the market for a sustainability coordinator. They will start going through applications January 31st.
The world is changing real fast because of global warming.
And by the way, that conference has not been confirmed. It's by a group called ICLEI, which is international, but they want to have a national conference right here in Fayetteville in July or August.
Did I see your hand up? Or no, I thought you had a comment. Should have anybody who hasn't spoken yet. I don't
Kelly,
Aubrey.
One thing about the use of grain or grass or brush for fuel. And it's the thing that Dick learned this some months ago and mentioned it, and I said, yes, that's pretty obvious, you're right. There's a trade-off for everything. And the trade-off in Arkansas years ago for vegetarians to have soybeans was thousands of acres of hardwood forest were destroyed in East Arkansas. That meant thousands of creatures of all species that live in those swamps and forests that level that land and plant beans. And so if we get to using soybeans and other crops, corn in particular, corn feeds cattle for the people who love beef. Corn feeds chickens for the people who love chickens. And corn causes diverticulitis for old people, so don't eat it. Burn it. But my point is that it's not free environmentally, because if they increase one more acre of cropland that was in brush, grass, or hardwood timber, or even pine timber, but it's not usually land that you'd farm. It is a trade-off in all the ways that green space destruction is for wildlife, people, and air and water quality. So it's not that simple. It's sort of like the light bulb thing. There's always a trade-off in it.
I think they're going to shut us down soon. There's something I want to say before we end. I'll let you talk to. I wanted to thank Stephen Kober, who is also the president of OMNI UA, for taking notes for us, because Stephen Scatabo, who had got in the car wreck tonight, was going to. Stephen took over.
Be sure and fill out those questionnaires that Gladys Tiffany was talking about, because I have an idea that that's going to be our way of getting back in touch with anybody who's interested in working on the carbon problem.
That's right. Casey, yes.
I was going to say 2 things. Whenever we're putting together all our flyers and pamphlets and bookmarks and things like that, we can also put in mailing stuff to people. Put in a plug for recycling the product when you're done with it.
That's great.
And now a plug for a new organization that's coming to Fayetteville, Free Geek, helping the needy get nerdy.
Oh yeah.
The idea is to reuse computers before they get recycled or just thrown in the trash.
Right.
And then give them away to the people that can use them.
Excellent. Excellent point. Cedar.
The email sign-up list never came around.
It's here. Did everybody get a chance to sign the email list?
Kelly,
I thought it was
I know it's your old one.
I'm sorry?
If I'm on your list, carbon capture list, do I need to?
You'll be all right. I'm so excited. This is a good starting point. We had good numbers here. We had good talent here. we can, and just, it's really up to our creativity to see where we can take this. But I have no doubt that we can have some impact on the situation by scattering these seeds, like I say, you know. And it may be seem kind of aimless, but I think that may be our best technique in order to make sure we all have a voice in this, and make sure that the inner circle doesn't throw up their hands and say, I got a life, I can't do this anymore, you know. Because sometimes we all get close to that. We've all got, everybody here has got, you know, John, and kids, and who knows what, you know. So, I don't know exactly what time it is, but I think everybody's coming. Thank you all so much. We're all going to convene, everybody's going to convene back in here, and then we're going to make sure we all fill out our peace questionnaires. Just to say, just to, you know, That's all we need for just a few more minutes here. I know there's so much to talk about. We're all buzzing right now, but we need to bring this to a graceful close.
So you got your own private.
Okay. Now, you know, as we mentioned several times, the information sheet that we've got, it's really so important to OMNI that that's filled out. We have, if somehow or another you don't have one or you don't know where yours is, Donna has a stack of them. And also we have pins, you know, endless number of pins.
I'm glad.
There's no excuse for looking for a pen or a pencil.
Okay.
Now, real quickly, while this is happening, why don't we get
I need a pen.
What's that, Marty?
I need a pen.
Oh, you need a pen. Okay, that'll make it your way.
And we just had a question. Somebody asked what the emergency crisis response was, and what we noticed was that just a few weeks ago, there was supposed to, several of the officers in OMNI were going to the Media Reform Conference. It was a great conference. But the day we left that conference, there was a major march called in Washington about the Iraq War, when right at the point where Congress was really, we began to suspect that Congress was going to back out of everything we voted for. So there was no one in town to call any kind of an action for that. It would have been a very appropriate time to do that. Fortunately, a member, Coralie Koontz, who's one of the rapid response writers and is a tremendous resource and very, very intelligent woman, she stepped in and said, okay, well, I'll just send out the email. So she did. But we decided we need a little bit more organization about this so that it doesn't depend on one or two people being here to do something. We need a committee.
That's, you know, really appreciate, and I can tell that this, these groups were very productive. I mean, just the fact that it was so hard to pull everybody out of it is a good sign. And we're going to, each of for real quickly, in about a minute each, I think that each group should say something about what happened in their group. Maybe if you have a representative or your coordinator. And I'll speak for the global warming group just very briefly. What we've done is we passed around a list and we have all of our emails and everybody attended the group. And we are going to turn that group into a work party group. And we're going to orchestrate all kinds of things. We're going to give away, or we're going to send copies of Inconvenient Truth to every legislator in Arkansas. We're going to give away thousands of fluorescent lights at Springfest. We're going to write all kinds of letters. We got all kinds of plans. We're becoming a group. And we're revved up about it. It was a very productive meeting, lots of good commentary. We all learned on both sides about what we're doing. So next, let's see, do we have a representative from the Darfur group? Let's see. Okay, Karen Chakamoto.
Thanks. Real quickly, Mark Mervin was a really excellent resource guy and had for us a video that we watched first, but also then presented really what the whole divestment campaign is about. We have copies of this one-page information sheet that says what it's about and how to find out more information on the website and stuff and what to say. We have a representative, Sue Madison is possibly going to be a co-sponsor on the bill. She's not quite almost there. She's almost there. But one of the things that we really would like people to do is call their representatives and our senators and reps in the legislature, ask them to be co-sponsors and also to support the bill when it comes up for the Arkansas retirement systems to get out of the investing in Sudan. So that's one real clear action that we would like everybody to do is contact their family, their friends who are teachers, policemen, firemen, because those are the state employees that are also a part of this whole investment scheme. And so we would like to see a grassroots campaign by having people, teachers, and firemen, all these folks who have their state retirement system investing in Sudan, so that if they draw their funds out from their investment schemes that are funding the genocide, then hopefully there will be a financial disincentive for the Sudan government to go around killing everybody. But it's an effective campaign. It's worked in the past in Sudan. As we know, it's worked also in South Africa. And so it's a very concrete, very, very effective way to stop this genocide. That we just really need to get our state funds out of our retirement funds out from investing in this. Yeah. Yes.
Sue Madison spoke at a Master Gardener thing. She's a big Master Gardener. She said, do not write her letters, email her.
That's a good point. She did suggest that calls and emails are better because they don't have a staff to open their envelopes to read the letter. So if you email them this in your remarks line to say, support divestment in Darfur, I think they'll know what that's about. And so that's the way to contact our state legislators.
Thank you. That is exciting. That's a brand new operation for OMNI, and so I'm real excited that probably we're paying some attention to Africa and Sudan. So let's see. How about the March 11th committee? Susan Eilert.
Okay, so there were about 17 folks that were in our group, and Greg and Melanie kind of reviewed what we had done before, both March 11th of last year and then in the fall, and talked about the different committees that worked together, the different materials that were put out. We talked about the press and how that was handled. I love that everybody got to speak and talk and say from their point of view why they were interested in the end of war, or the 4th anniversary of the Iraq War committee, how that touched them personally, and why they felt they wanted to be a part of this committee. And it ranged from, all kinds of things, like somebody had family and friends who were serving in Iraq, and a father has a 19-year-old son who he was so worried about, and so all that just made the committee feel very close, and it was just a great experience. We did get some work done. We asked some questions, like when you witness demonstrations or been a part of them, what kind of things pull you in? Is it the visuals? Is it the music? Is it the speakers? So we had a lot of discussion about the sorts of things that would make our demonstrations against the war more effective. So we had a lot of great ideas for that. And then we needed also to hone in on what is our very most urgent message, because our demonstration is for peace, against the war, stop the killing, stop the money spending. So we really need to make sure that whatever message we put out there is clear and concise and touches everybody's heart. Or stay out of Iran. There was another one that came up. We've settled on a date, so put this on your calendar. The actual anniversary is March 17th, but just like last year, that coincides with our spring break. We're going to do it again on March 11th because, well, we have some continuity from last year, and also the National Organization Against the War is calling for an entire week of activities against, just to mark the anniversary. So it just seems fine to do it then. And then we made some hard core plans to get together again because time is short. We have only about a month and a half to get this done. So everybody had a lot of energy and willing and ready to go. So I think we'll have a great March. No, that's coming shortly because we asked folks to say when would be best for them, and then we'll, majority votes.
I know all these issues overlap some, and we're all interested in the war, we're interested in global warming, we're interested in Gulf War. I wanted to mention that our group, the global warming group, one thing that we decided also, in the first activity we're going to do together is we had the honor of having actually one of the Gore trainees here tonight, and Robert McAfee. He's going to give his PowerPoint demonstration. I think most of you probably know that Al Gore trained 1,000 people in America to go out and spread the word. Well, we've got one of those people in the room here. Where are you, Robert?
He left.
Okay, he has to drive all the way to Fort Smith and beyond to go home. But he's going to give us a presentation on February 7th. That's going to be our first activity, and it will be in the OMNI newsletter. So everyone, it's not, our whole group will be invited by email, but the rest of you should watch the OMNI newsletter for that event. It's a great thing to get to read. So that's enough of me. Why don't you can end it with your group, and well, okay, you have a representative?
No, we have a couple of them.
Well, they had an intense thing. I opened the door in there, and boy, it looked like they were getting after it. Thank you, Mary.
So, we had a real heartfelt discussion about what is a community of peace. One of the ideas was there's 3 spheres to a culture. There's the economic, the political, and the cultural. Currently in the United States, the economic is driving everything, especially the political. It has to change, and they all have to come in balance and support each other. We realized it takes an awful long time to make a decent human being. And some tools we suggested to help make more decent human beings was listening skills, some training in nonviolent communication in the Marshall Rosenberg series, yoga classes for inner peace, to help combat geographical hatred that begins right within our school systems with the school spirit idea, rah, 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 football, hate the other guys. Some action needs to be taken at that level immediately to combat that geographical hatred right where it begins. There needs to be more eating together, feeding yourself, singing, and as an organization, we can view ourselves as a tribe, especially for those who have lost their tribe. And their tribes say, we're going to take it back, we're going to be a tribe with open-minded listening, and we're going to be screaming for peace, simplicity, goodness, and joy.
Okay, good. All right. I can tell this is a productive night. That is incredible. But we just had a couple of other things that we really kind of needed to just mention because so many things happen in this community. I know you're going to, everybody would like to go home. And there's this entire stack of things here that, no, the one thing I have my notes on is not railroads, okay. Okay, I'm sorry, but I just want you to know that that quarterly forum is coming up April 13th. It's not going to be the next thing that happens. There will be a lot of things that happen. You need to be on our OMNI listserv, and I think most of you are, but if you're not, get on the listserv so we can communicate. There's a couple of other things that are happening real soon, and Mindy Knott is a local poet. She's a wonderful poetess, if you've ever got to hear her. She just wants to tell us about something that's coming up.
Okay, right quick. I'm going to be doing a Peace Justice Ecology Writing for Change workshop, and it will be, imagine this, just the week right before the march. And we're going to try to have an open mic after that march for everybody who doesn't stand up on that stage, who needs to talk, who needs to say something. So this will be your chance to come and learn to write something. And everything that you learn in this workshop, it costs $15 except for the people who bid on it, and that's free for them because they already paid. But I will take that money and put it into the march. So if you would like to come, please sign up. There's a sign-up list sheet out there. I got some little flyers if you just want to consider it. It's a great time. March 3rd, Saturday, 1 to 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, does anyone else have anything that they need to say before we depart?
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to all the volunteers that did the food and set up all that.
Oh, yeah. Somewhere in the stack that is now all confused, there's a list of all the volunteers that helped us put this meeting on. They were incredible. A number of people, there were probably 40 people on that list who worked to help this meeting come together. But at the end of the list, I can't avoid mentioning that I think we need to give one more standing round of applause for Dick Bennett for bringing us together.
Yes.
Thank you to everyone, and good night.
We'll do it.
We were down there talking after our meeting, and suddenly I said, "Oh my gosh, they're starting and I'm missing it." So you have it?
I have it on here.
You got it on here. Well,
I'll make you a DVD of this tape and give it to you. How's that?
now, let's see. And get Dick.
Get Dick while he's talking over there too.
Yeah.
Well, this one I noticed
amazing.
the battery doesn't charge as fully anymore.
Yeah, that's
what yours did.
Yeah, that's.
So I'll have the same problem.
Now, did you get this light to work better here?
I tilted it differently.
Yeah, that's what, it was much better
I think
than before. We were trying to get it in such a hurry.
Yeah.
The lights in here
Oh,
are not good.
see, there's not even a bulb in the middle. So.
Yeah, and that doesn't work. They tried to put a new bulb in, and it's on the list of things they've got to do to renovate this building.
Do you work at, so you have this all already? Okay, so it's kind of there, they let you do
And I saw his picture at the website.
because she's working with Peace Out. She's an artist.
Well, it's morning, about 10 o'clock in the morning, I guess, or something, and it's 27th of January 2007. Last night we were at the OMNI membership dinner, and today we're at one of my pet projects, the World Peace Wetland Prairie. This land, 2.5 acres, was purchased with funding from City of Fayetteville's Tree and Trail Task Force and the Audubon Society, or the Audubon Arkansas, and by Tyson Food, and some contributions by members of the Town Branch Neighborhood Association and the Fayetteville Natural Heritage Association and the OMNI Center. OMNI actually paid for 1/5 of this land, and this front portion, it's all the stonework you see, provided by Kurt Richardson, and the stone there will become benches and so forth. And on your left you see the butterfly garden dedicated to Kurt's late daughter, Elia Richardson. And the back portion, where the birds are mostly, is the wetland prairie area that's being restored to native species, all back there and to our right. Here's the central flow area of World Peace Wetland Prairie. We're at the southeast corner of the 2 acres that's going to be gradually restored to native species. And you see a big base of big willow growing almost in the flow area. And of course this area has been cleared of honeysuckle and a lot of small trees and underbrush, and won't provide nesting habitat for birds for a while, but it will be more of a stretch of open grassland. And you can see that many batches of native grass have been planted back here